Well, hello everyone and welcome back. The Cylon Raider is coming along. It's looking really good. I went through and thickened up this stripe a little better. These are glued on. And then did a wash. And then I went through and did some pastels. Where I just laid a piece of tape down and then just brushed and did a little streaking with the sides. Like I took a little, there's the actual brush I use, and I would put a piece of tape, there's a little panel line from the kit, I would lay a piece of tape and have it open towards the back, and then I would just, with a little pastel chalks, do that, and then I could do something like this and then peel up the tape, and it keeps it clean on this side and dirty on the other, and it kind of gives you that panel thing. And some other things like where panels are going this way, because you always want to do your washes and your like weathering kind of in the direction, like, you know, of travel. This thing goes this way, so everything should streak that way. But so for the panel lines that are this way, I can kind of, since they're raised panel lines, I would just take a brush with the chalk and just lightly rub across like that, and it would give me that panel line. So that worked out really good. Did the panel, to me a panel liner in here to darken those a little more. But it came out really good. I'm happy. You know, I haven't tried the pastels doing such, you know, a lot of weathering on it, but I can't complain about it. It came out really good. And you want to go sometimes a hair, it may look a hair darker than you want, but once you put a clear over it, it mellows it out. And you can always wipe some off too if you, with water or alcohol or something. But there's the bottom, and I did the same thing, ran tape over these lines and did streaking, ran another piece of tape, did streaking. The same thing on the side, you know, even with this angled one, and then did some streaking and then pulled the tape off. It gives you that cool like panel kind of thing going on. But yeah, she's, as far as the ship itself is done. This part here, which I did in the gunmetal, then I glued it on and took my airbrush with the hull color and lightly mist that way to kind of tone it down and bring it into the hull color and give it a little bit of a weathering on that metallic fins here. And then it's a little darker and you can see the shininess where it didn't hit back in, because I didn't blast it from it. I kind of did a light dusting back here, and then this one stays really dark, like it doesn't get all that weathering and chipping. And you go there. Alright, so what we're going to do is, here's our base, which is painted in a zinc, and then it's going to sit on top of this. I'm wondering, do I get this down first instead of putting it on here? I get this down first and tacked, and then put you on. And there's a couple nicks and knocks and dents in here, and that don't really matter. The ship's going to cover most of it anyway. I don't really see it at all. So what do we hold this down with is another question. And I'm thinking of JB Weldnet. Putting some spots, and then maybe a little super glue, and together those two should hold this pretty good. Like I said, then I kind of got to do this. I guess what I need is some type of mixing apparatus. I could always use that. as a mixing apparatus. And then we're going to want a little bit of super glue too, because that'll tack it and hold it until the JB weld dries. You're going to need a healthy amount of it. But you do remember you're adding 2 parts, so that's not going to be the complete volume of it. You're going to have a double. Depending on how much hardener you want to add to it. The more you add, the quicker it sets up. You want to mix this up good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this. I'm going to put it in these areas where they kind of have little feet. It'll be able to hit the board. Alright, we're going to want to get this super glue down fast and get everything down at a pretty decent rate and lined up. So that should be fabulous. I got some time, but... Alright, we'll need to the back. Now, this is going to be the fun part. I guess what we do is just press and then hope all that comes down. Like the JB weld will start to flow down and then catch it. That's what I'm hoping. We'll see if that's what happens. I don't want to get it. Start pressing. It's got a grip, so something's gripping. JB weld's starting to set up because whatever's oozing out of there, a little bit that's oozing out of there is starting to set up. Alrighty, that seems to be working. And then every time we're going to pick this ship up from this anyway, so we can get this wiring through. And I'm glad I drilled it straight down because it should come. And do I still see it? Yeah, we're pretty lined up. Yeah, so everything's good. I thought I had you all twisted. Oh, it stays in its shape a little better. And we'll twist up here because this is where I really need them to stay together. So it'll pop through all those holes. There we go. Now, that we got you started, we'll just put a little dab of glue there. I mean, I guess I could have it because this slides pretty much on that pretty good. I might not actually have to glue it on this, but I might put a little bit. Just to make sure. I got that to fit on there pretty snug, so. And now we can try to turning out to be more difficult than I thought. And that's just a layer of paints. So let's get you like that and press like that. You gotta be careful because I don't. Try to get it down a little better because the further down I get it onto the base, the better. That works for me. I'm liking it. Oh, we can get it out there and solder that beautifully. Wasn't sure if that would. And then we'll felt this with some black felt that I have. And we should be good. These have loops, you know. We'll loop them through and get them really hot. If I remember correctly, that's going to be the tip. The short one. Get something to hold that like that while it's pulling. Now the red I never have overly problems with. It's the brass and the green. The green's really bad. I can't get that to strip insulation to save my life. Solder gun's still a little cold. Well, it closed the hole, and that's usually a good sign, because usually if there's insulation, or, you know, if it didn't grab, it'll repel the solder. So I think we got a good joint there. There we go. Use that again to hold it. But I'm seeing a black gunk come out, so that definitely means the insulation's melting. Because that's the burned insulation. Well, I guess before we completely close it up, we should do a little test, and this should be fun to do. Yep, there they go, the engine is fired. So everything's working. So another quick batch of JB Weld to weld you in there. And then we're good to go. I'll stick a little tape on you. Or we'll actually do the old double thing. We'll super glue you. To tack in till the JB Weld sets. It's usually the best way to do it. It's kind of like using super glue to wait for your plastic glue to set up. Plastic glue won't work really good for your, or the super glue won't really work good for regular styrene. It's more for like an ABS plastic. But it'll tack it enough until your plastic cement, which is your more welding cement for plastics, sets up. And the ship's spinning around on its own. Oop. I don't want that on there. Now I'm thinking I put the JB Weld in this little notchy area. I put a healthy amount on there. Let's get it off to the edge. It might be out of your view, I'm not sure. I need a light over here. And the nicest thing is I can shove wire back up into the ship. And I'm probably going to have to because that's what's giving me a problem right here. Beautiful. Yeah, so we're going to have to hit it with a little tape just until it sets up. Try to wiggle it so make sure the JB Weld squishes around in there. It's trying to hold it, but the wires are pushing until I'm able to flip it back upside down. That's alright. A little tape like that will hold it. And then we'll let her sit. But that's her. Next time you see her, we'll do an unveiling. I try to get this on a flat ground, but let me get this light back over her. But all right, folks, this is our TOS Cylon Raider. I got to work on a little bit of how to get this to sit right again. I think from pressing, and there it goes. Like I said, I don't mind if it leans up a little bit. That gives it like it's coming up from a dive. But yeah, what a nice kit for an older kit. I can't complain. For an older kit, that's a great kit. And most people are saying this was the more accurate one out of that whole line of the TOS Monogram did. And for sure it is. But hey, until we come back, we're up to a reveal. This is the last build video. We're up to a final reveal. So, till then, see you soon.